There we go. There we go. There's a nice chunky. Actually, this thing would weigh a lot more if it would eat a little better. I mean, look at the size of that mouth. It's a good sized spotted bass. He needs to eat. Hey everybody, it's Dalton. I want to go over a technique with you. Many of you already know it. Some people won't know it. It's called a NEKO rig. Why it's called that, I really don't know. One of my favorite baits for it is a Yum Dinger. Just a 5-inch soft stick bait. These things are really oily, so I'll get some of the oil off so I can work with it a little bit easier. I'm going to show you how I rig this thing up. First thing I do is just get the simple little O-ring, and I don't use an O-ring tool. I just slide it on. This bait's got so much oil on it that you can just slide it on. Then what I do is I take a little nail. Now these are little tungsten nails that I buy, but I also have lead ones. I've got a whole bunch of different kinds, but this is just a little nail, really light. I buy them in all different sizes. I have them up to about 1/8 of an ounce. And what I do is I take this nail and I just insert it into the head of this worm. Sometimes you got to bite a little bit of it off to flatten it out. And it's going to look like that, okay? I got some super glue in my pocket. I will take just a little dab of super glue, put it on there, and push the nail the rest of the way in. So the nail actually is inside the worm now, okay? Now, the way I rig this thing is real important in terms of the NEKO rig. You know, a wacky rig is more like this. This is a NEKO rig. This is where you're going to take a small hook. This is a Aaron Martin's Gamakatsu drop shot hook, and I take my little ring and I put it right in the middle of that egg sac on the worm. The biggest thing that you want to do on a NEKO rig is make sure that the tip of the hook is facing the tail. So it looks like that. What winds up happening, because you've got that little weight on the bottom, is this thing is going to move along the bottom like this. Now the way I use it, pretty simple. This is a pretty slow way of fishing. I mean, bite's been not super aggressive today, and I got a little bit of wind right now, but I didn't have any earlier. I'll let this thing go ahead and hit the bottom, and all I do is I just move it along really slow like this. I move this thing as slow as I can possibly move it. I keep my rod tip up because that increases my sensitivity. I'm going to be able to feel that bite. Now let's say I'm getting a bite right now. The best way for me, for the hook set, is I just hold my ground. I call it holding my ground. Remember something, a bass is used to whatever it's trying to eat to get away. It's trying to get away from it. It could be a small lizard, a frog, bait fish, crawdad, whatever it is. It's trying to get away from that bass while the bass is eating it. So they're used to that resistance. So if I'm getting a bite right now, I'm going to hold my ground. I'm going to let him work his way to the hook, and when I feel a little more pressure, I just start reeling and lift my rod tip. And I just have one hit it. He was following it, and notice what he did. He stole my worm. So I got to do another worm. But at any rate, this is a very effective technique. And you notice when I reeled, he hit it. Sometimes they'll watch this thing for a while. I should have popped it before I reeled it in. Sometimes that'll get him to bite it, but now I got to put another one together. He went and took my worm away. But that's how I fish a NEKO rig. It's a great technique, super finesse, super effective. I like the shaky head, but if I had to pick between the two, I would pick the NEKO rig. It's great to fish around docks and rocks, and it's good for all types of cover. You can really work it through some soft cover if it's soft vegetation, and you can catch a lot of fish with it. You can fish it shallow or you can fish it deep. Either way, you're going to catch fish with it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll talk to you next time.